Hello, writers. We get to do another writing lesson from home here, and I'm excited because you have all been working really hard and producing really good how-to pieces of writing. So I think that you can continue making your pieces even better and learning how to do more things, even though we're not together in the classroom. Today we're going to talk about spelling strategies that we can use when we're trying to spell longer words that we don't have memorized. So when you write, there are a few different kinds of words that you're going to come across. For example, you'll come across sight words that you learned in kindergarten or junior kindergarten. Sight words are little words that you probably have memorized. We have them on our spelling test every week, right? And you have to memorize them by sight, meaning you can't really sound them out. You just have to look at them and know what they are and also be able to write them without stretching out the sounds. You probably remember this spell check from your writing folder at school. By the way, I'm sending home a copy of this to you today so that you can have your own spell checker at home. But this is a big long list of sight words, words that we're not really able to sound out, that you just have to know how to spell. So if you're not sure how to spell a sight word, you can always look at the spell checker and it can help you to spell that word. Another kind of word that you might encounter in your writing is a word that you just have memorized. Maybe it's a word you write all the time. Like, for example, when I was in first grade, I would go to the grocery store with my mom all the time. And above the entrance of the grocery store was a big sign that said, "Welcome." I looked at that sign all the time and I just kind of started to memorize it because I saw it so often. Welcome is a word that I could easily write down when I was in first grade just because I had it memorized and I didn't have to sound it out. However, there's also going to be words in your writing that you are going to have to sound out. Now, earlier in first grade, we have worked on using Stretchy Snake to stretch out the sounds of the words that we're trying to spell, and then we write down all the sounds that we hear. So, for example, if I'm writing the word dog, and I don't know how to spell it, I can go d, a, g. I heard 3 sounds when I stretched out the word dog. That means I should be writing at least 3 letters when I go to write the word dog. Now that you're getting to be an even better speller and a better writer, maybe you're coming across longer words that you'd like to be able to spell and you don't have them memorized. So you need some strategies to be able to do that. Let's think about the word basketball. Basketball is a pretty long word. And if I were to go b-a-s-k-e-t-b-a-l, I lose track of how many sounds are in that word. I sounded them all out when I stretched it out like Stretchy Snake, but I totally lost track of how many there were. So now I don't really know how many letters I should write down for that word. Well, we're actually going to use a different strategy that we already know to help us with longer words, and that strategy is chunky monkey. Now, when we see a word in our reading and it's a longer word, sometimes we can cover up part of it and break the word up into chunks so that we can read the word a little easier, right? That actually works for spelling too. We're not going to cover anything up because there's not a word on the page yet, but we can chunk the word into syllables and that will help us to spell it. So let's think about that word basketball. We're really good at syllables. So think how many syllables are in basketball. Hand under chin, basketball, basketball. My chin went down 3 times when I said the word basketball. So I need to have at least 3 chunks on my paper. Now, I'll give you a hint about how syllables work. In every syllable of every word that you say, you will find a vowel. Vowels are A, E, I, O, U, right? So I know that when I go to write a chunk that I named of basketball, I want to make sure that there is a vowel in that chunk when I'm writing it down. So my first syllable that I said was bass. I'm going to try writing that down. B, a, s. What do you think? Bass. Does that look like the first chunk of that word? I think so. I see a vowel right here. It's the letter A. Now the second chunk of basketball was basketball. Okay, I heard ket in the middle there. So I'm going to write that chunk. K, k, k. That's a K. That's an E. T, t, t. That's a T. Okay, so bass was the first chunk and there was the vowel. Ket is the second chunk and there was a vowel in there. And the last chunk I heard, basketball, was ball. Okay, so b, all. Now, I'm an adult and I have learned that the word all has two L's. So basketball has two L's at the end of it. I don't expect you to know that necessarily right now, but you probably heard b, a, o in the syllable that you said when we were sounding out basketball. And there's the vowel again, that letter A. I used the chunky monkey strategy to help me chunk up this word, break it up into syllables, and then I wrote each syllable instead of having to stretch out all of the letter sounds and write those. Because this word is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 letters long. I wouldn't have been able to keep track of that if I was just trying to use stretchy snake. Let's try another one. You can use this for shorter words too. Let's say I'm trying to write about my favorite thing to do in the winter, and I'm not quite sure how to spell winter. First, I would start by counting the syllables. So, hand under chin, winter. I heard two syllables when I sounded out that word, winter. Okay, now I know that there is a vowel in every syllable that I say. So when I go to write the first syllable of winter, I need to make sure there's a vowel in there. The first syllable is win. So w, I, n, win. I wrote down win with a vowel there. The vowel is the I. Now I need the ter part. Ter, t, Now, when I say the ter part of winter, I really only hear a T and an R. Ter, right? But I just told you that every syllable of a word has a vowel in it. That means that this syllable, the ter syllable at the end of winter, has to have a vowel in it. But what vowel would that be? I don't hear a vowel when I say ter. What vowel could that be? Do you have any ideas? The vowel in this case is actually an E. ER together says Now we have not learned about R controlled vowels yet this year. We'll be getting to that later this year. But maybe you can start to take a guess about what would go here. Take your best guess if you're sounding out a word like winter, because now you know that there has to be a vowel in every syllable that we write. So today, when you go to write your how-to writing, you're going to be making sure that you have lots of details, that you have order words at the beginning of some of your steps, that you have labels on your pictures if you'd like, that you are very specific about the instructions that you're giving someone. Make sure that you have punctuation at the ends of your steps. But also, maybe you can use this spelling strategy that I just taught you and think about it like chunky monkey for reading. It's chunky monkey for writing. If you do use this spelling strategy for a longer word that you write today, maybe you can write a comment about it in Seesaw so that I can see what word you were spelling. Okay, enjoy your 10 or 15 or maybe even 20 minutes of writing today, and I'll see you again tomorrow.